What am I doing? Well, I don't even know what I'm doing. Let's start with the GTX. Last I left off, I did get the little part that goes on the hood. I got it glued on, but it's going to have a sunroof, and I actually cut it out a little short the first time. It's always good to if you got to cut something out, cut it out in sections. That way, instead of cutting out one big wad, at least you can always trim out just enough till you get the desired length. Basically drilled 4 holes and one in the center and just traced it out. I could have did it with wherever it's at, Mr. Dremel, which I got it buried there, with the cutting wheel, but it was just easier to take a drill press and drill the holes and then cut it out with the knife. But anyway, the sunroof should be right about where the door handles are, so we should be pretty close. And next I got to do now is take Mr. Sanding Stick and got to sand the edges down, and then I got to figure out if we're doing it open or we're going to do it closed, and I'll find all that out once we get there. First, we're just doing basic construction, and then I'll find out what we need to do on the sunroof itself, because it won't be movable. We'll have to pick which way we want it. I'm pretty much done with the bottom here. I did get the exhaust on the little rear axle, and then basically ready to paint. I'll paint that before I put the wheels on, and we'll do that probably soon, since it's basically going to be a black metallic grayish color. So that's what I'm going to do on that. But I'm getting spoiled though. I got the I want to say cockpit, the interior for the GTX here. It's already painted and sealed. Really great job on it too. And I don't have to assemble the one in the kit, so it's always a plus when you get stuff already assembled. And I don't have to assemble the motor, and this one's already wired up too. So we'll get that put in once I get the chassis painted, and then the car body itself is actually going to be painted a butterscotch color. So I'm going to go track that down, and probably through paint scratch, but I need to I got to do a lot of prep work right now on it, so we'll get that going pretty soon. The Mustangs. What did I do? Last time I left off, I did paint the landing gear. I got the tires painted black. Need to paint the tail wheel. But I did get the landing gear itself painted basically silver, and then I'm going to do some washes on it. I did some tulip duty on it, and I'm going to do a little bit more just to fill in some gaps. And I'm going to go in and take the fuselage paint and paint up the seams. It's just easier. Not a whole lot of putty work. But I did sand off the anti-glare because I was fixing the seam here, and I wanted to see which color I wanted. And I usually go with it's my olive drab for the anti-glare. I just think it looks more realistic than most greens out there on the anti-glare. I did have to reverse the canopies. For whatever reason, I put that canopy on that one and that canopy on that one, and I had to, I don't know what I was saying, I was probably sniffing fumes that day, so I got the B canopy on and the D on the correct one now, so we are good to go. Once I get a little bit further along, we'll rip tape off, and on the B there's actually a little I want to call it a little window door frame here. I'm going to mask that off and paint the frame on there, and I'll be good to go on it. And then we can start finishing up these as well. The Chevelle. That's done. Basically, these 2 hoods are done. I could paint this one if I really want. I may just leave it red for now. That's the hybrid one. But I did get the 2 hoods masked off and painted black. And they are freshly painted, and I'm waiting for them to dry. Basically, I use Spectrum. It's not a flat black, but it's I want to say it's semi-gloss. And then once I put Future on, it'll be a gloss coat anyway, so there is that. I'm going to put one more coat on here just to get make sure it's everything covered, and let that sit for a day. And I'll pull tape off and show everyone what that looks like. So That's pretty much all the painting on the Chevelle, and then I'm ready to do the future, which I'm going to do future on everything all at one time is my game plan, but always subject to change without notice. I don't know if you can actually see it, but I did, I put another layer of black on there. It's actually, I know it's kind of hard to see it on the chrome and the lights, but that's pretty much best I can get for, I really can't really paint it black, because if you paint it all black, it just looks like you painted it black. This is the best way to explain it. I did get the side right there where the lights go. I'm going to put a couple more washes on there and then wipe that off, and then should be dark enough for the bumper. So anyway, a little more on that, and we will be done with that. The Twilight car. The only thing I did so far is I painted the silver back on the rails there. It's just easier to do it that way. I got to touch up a little bit because I only got one coat on. I want to let that dry, do another coat, and I'll be good to go. Next, really the only thing I need to do is basically, and I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway, is I'm going to rip the tape off, and I'm going to spray Future on the entire model, clear parts and all. This way it'll give protection over the clear part, give it, any scratches or anything of that nature that occurs during while it's driving around. I think that'll also help protect it. So that's my game plan on that, but it's pretty much ready to go. Bella's truck is it's supposed to be red, but it's faded orange, so I'm gonna probably go with a let me see here, probably go with a red orange just to kind of get the faded look going. So that's my game plan anyway. I want to probably mix some paints and see, but first I want to get the bed cover on that hides the bikes. So I always I don't know, about every 5-6 years you always get a Christmas gift, handkerchiefs, and I dug them out, and I always use them for canvas tarps and everything, because I think they're just thin enough for 35th, 32nd scale type stuff. But anyway, if you double up, you can make them very thick. So what I'm going to do is put the tarp over the bikes itself, and what I'm going to do is I'll probably either I'll probably glue it, and then I'll probably put a screw in there just to hold it down, very tiny screw. And then I'm going to take Mr. Stiffy here, and with a chip brush, and I'm just going to soak it and saturate it. And once it gets saturated and soaked, it'll get rock hard, and then I'll be able to basically paint it. It's kind of a greenish color for the tarp, and that way it'll hide the bikes, and it'll give the contour of the bikes itself in the bed of the trailers. So that's my game plan, but I gotta just start at one end and start super gluing, and then work my way around and do Stiffy last. But anyway, that's my game plan on that. It's wonderful stuff. I use this for I probably don't have any handy. I use Stiffy for balsa foam, but you can also use it, for making straps and other stuff like that. So that's what I use Stiffy for, which is just a another little arsenal in the model building world. But anyway, that's what I've got going today. I should have a shed update because I got a few things I need to talk about in the ARC itself. But anyway, we are doing Bella's truck with the tarp. We are painting the Twilight car, painting the black on the Chevelle. The Mustangs continue, and construction still continues on the GTX. So that's what I got going on today. So stay tuned for the next exciting episode.